Wake up, call an Uber to get to work, stream a playlist on Spotify, and maybe book an Airbnb for the weekend. You have been told that this is the ultimate modern freedom. They proudly call it the sharing economy. They tell you that not owning a car, a house, or physical media makes you smart, agile, and stress-free. But today, we need to completely erase that marketing lie from the whiteboard, because this system is not about sharing at all. It is a meticulously designed financial scam, engineered with one specific goal: to extract your wealth and guarantee that you stay poor forever. For generations, the working class built actual wealth through one simple mechanic: ownership. Owning your car, paying off a mortgage, and holding physical assets meant you were building equity. It was your safety net. But the corporate elite realized that equity gave you way too much power. If you buy a product once and own it forever, they cannot keep extracting your money. To hit record-breaking trillion-dollar profits, they needed to completely destroy your ability to build wealth. They needed to keep their hand inside your pocket every single month. So they rebranded poverty and sold it to you as convenience. They used brilliant marketing to convince the working class that owning things is actually a heavy burden. Why buy a shelf full of movies when you can just pay a small fee to stream them? Why worry about car insurance and maintenance when you can just rent a ride from an app? They sold you this massive illusion of freedom. They told you that by not owning anything, you were finally free from stress. They discovered a psychological glitch in your brain. They successfully transformed you from a powerful buyer who builds wealth into a permanent renter bleeding cash. You think you are participating in a modern, shared utopia, but in reality, you are just funding the S-tier mega corporations while you are left with absolutely nothing at the end of the month. They started this scam with your digital life, but that was just the beta test. Let us break down exactly how this sharing economy works and how they plan to put a digital padlock on the rest of your physical reality. Let us take a quick step back to the 1990s and the early 2000s. Back then, the system operated on a very simple and fair rule. If you walked into a store and bought a video game, a music CD, or a computer program, you walked out with a physical item in your hands. You paid for it one single time, and it was yours forever. It sat proudly on your shelf. If you lost your job the very next day and your bank account dropped to zero, it did not matter. Nobody could come into your house and take that CD away from you. You still owned it. You had absolute, undeniable control over your possessions. Now, look at our whiteboard. Let us draw a thick black line crossing out that physical box and replace it with a drawing of a digital cloud. This represents the birth of the modern subscription model. The corporate world calls it software as a service. But we need to call it what it really is: a digital hostage situation. Today, you do not actually buy products anymore. You simply buy temporary permission to use them. You pay a monthly fee to access your own work documents, to look at your own family photos, and to listen to your favorite music. But here is the terrifying catch that you blindly accept every time you click "I agree." Every single one of these digital services comes with a hidden weapon: the kill switch. Think about the immense power of that switch. If your credit card gets declined next month, or if the mega corporation simply decides to update their terms of service, they press one single button. Instantly, your entire digital life vanishes. Your music library is locked. Your work files are completely frozen. Your favorite movies disappear into thin air. You can spend thousands of dollars on these subscriptions over 5 years, but the exact moment you stop paying the toll, you are left with absolutely nothing. You built zero equity. You are just renting a tiny, fragile space on somebody else's server. This was the corporate master plan all along. By digitizing everything, these mega corporations completely destroyed the concept of second-hand ownership. You cannot resell a digital subscription to a friend to get some of your money back. You cannot pass your digital library down to your children. Every single dollar you spend flows in one direction only, straight up to the top of the pyramid. This level of absolute control is already a financial disaster for your wallet in the digital space. But the corporate elite, the S-tier giants we talked about before, looked at this digital subscription model and realized it was simply too profitable to keep trapped inside computers. So they asked a very dangerous question: what happens if we apply this exact same leasing logic to the real physical world? The true nightmare begins when the corporate matrix steps out of your screen and decides to put a digital padlock on your car, your appliances, and the actual roof over your head. Look closely at your physical reality. The corporate system has already started installing their digital kill switch into the physical hardware you thought you owned. Let us draw a simple printer on our whiteboard. You go to the store, pay your hard-earned money, and carry the physical machine to your home office. But the moment you stop paying a monthly cloud subscription fee, the company remotely disables your ink cartridges. The physical printer sitting on your desk instantly becomes a useless plastic brick until you pay their monthly ransom. Now, let us erase the printer and draw a car. Not a rental car, but a vehicle you paid tens of thousands of dollars to buy. The hardware for heated seats is physically built into the car. You already paid for the manufacturing of those seats when you bought it. But recently, massive car companies started locking that physical hardware behind a software paywall. If you want your seats to get warm in the winter, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee. They are literally charging you rent to use a physical object that is parked inside your own garage. But printers and cars are just the warm-up. The absolute peak of this dystopian nightmare involves your most basic human need: a roof over your head. Let us draw a standard single-family home. For decades, buying a house was the ultimate escape from the financial matrix. It was how the working class built generational wealth. Once you paid off your mortgage, you were truly free. But the S-tier mega corporations and massive Wall Street funds realized that homeownership gave you way too much power. So, they started buying up entire neighborhoods. They use billions of dollars of institutional cash to outbid regular families. But they are not buying these houses to sell them. They are buying them to hoard them. Their ultimate goal is to turn the entire housing market into an eternal subscription service. They are artificially inflating real estate prices so high that you will never be able to afford a mortgage. They want to force an entire generation to become permanent, lifelong renters. You are being systematically priced out of owning your own life. They have designed a new economic reality where you bleed cash on the first day of every single month just to use the basic tools of survival. If you cannot build equity, you have absolutely no power. You are trapped on a treadmill, running at full speed just to stay in the exact same place. But here is the most terrifying psychological question of all. How did they convince you to smile while they put these invisible handcuffs on your wrists? To understand how they convinced you to accept this, we have to look at the most successful psychological manipulation of the 21st century. The corporate elite knew that if they simply took away your ability to own a home or a car, you would riot. So they decided to rebrand poverty. They disguised it as a trendy lifestyle choice. They hijacked the minimalist movement. Through millions of targeted articles, social media campaigns, and influencer aesthetics, they sold you the idea that owning physical things is stressful, outdated, and a heavy burden. They told you to live light, to prioritize digital experiences over physical assets, and to embrace the sharing economy. They successfully romanticized premium poverty. You are paying luxury prices to rent a lifestyle you will never actually own. You feel like a modern, free digital nomad, but financially, you are operating as a medieval peasant working on land owned by a massive corporate lord. But the golden rule of human history has never changed. Whoever owns the real assets dictates the rules. If you do not own your house, your landlord controls your safety. If you do not own your car, the algorithm controls your mobility. If you do not own your digital files, the tech giant controls your memories. When you own nothing, you are completely vulnerable to price hikes, sudden policy changes, and total cancellation. You have zero leverage. The famous corporate prediction says, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." But the silent second half of that sentence is, "Because we will own everything and we will be powerful." So, how do you escape this trap? Look at our whiteboard one last time. We draw our stick figure trapped inside a digital cage of monthly subscriptions. Now, a pair of physical scissors appears and snips the wires. The cage falls apart. You cannot outspend the S-tier mega corporations, but you can actively choose to stop playing their game. You must start quietly converting your fiat money into hard, tangible assets. You need to buy physical tools, secure your own data offline, and build a localized shield against the digital rental economy. You must reclaim the concept of absolute ownership, no matter how small you have to start. And that is exactly why I wrote the Phantom Protocol. This is not a traditional finance book. It is a brutal, step-by-step survival manual designed to help the modern worker unplug from the subscription matrix. It will teach you how to stop bleeding daily cash to the corporate giants, how to protect your privacy, and how to start building real, untouchable equity outside of their system. If you are tired of paying a daily toll just to exist, the link to the Phantom Protocol is waiting for you in the pinned comment below. Stop renting your life, reclaim your ownership, cut the digital strings, and I will see you on the outside.